And could you paint a picture of what life was like in terms of your relationship with yourself and your intimate relationship before we started working together?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think before we started working with each other, the hardest thing for me, excuse me, the hardest thing for me was to really just give myself permission to just be. Just give myself permission to just be who I am without trying to be who I think others wanted me to be. Um, so just really turning inward and uh, for me, taking your class was more of turning inward to really reconnect with myself and be more honest and transparent, even with myself. Um, just because, if we don't start there, then we can't be as honest and transparent with our intimate relationships as well, or even any relationship at that, whether it's coworker or, whether it's business, work, whatever, intimate, family as well. So for me, it was just about really being able to look inside of myself and being more intimate and transparent with myself, and as well as really being able to give myself permission to do so.
Mm, beautifully said. And so maybe you can tell us what happened through the 12-week experience, what opened or changed for you?
Quite a bit, actually. You know, I th I think the biggest thing for me, again, it just goes back to that permission, and the permission to really speak my voice as well.
Mm.
Um, I tend to, in my relationships, regardless of what type of relationship it is, I will oftentimes not speak up just because I don't want any friction. So I always see, I don't want any confrontation or friction. But what I realized going through the course is that if I speak up, it doesn't cause the friction and the angst that I feel it does. And so being able to just relax and realize that, and again, giving myself permission to speak up and realizing that it's not going to always cause an argument. It's not going to always cause angst or anything like that. And actually, kind of the opposite has been true. And that when I spoke up, people were like, oh, okay, I didn't think about that, or oh, I didn't realize that. And so it was more affirming than it was depleting.
Mm, so beautiful. Wow, so beautiful. And so the question of if you, a woman for a woman, considering doing this program for herself, what would you want to say to her?
I would say just do I'm like Nike, just do it. Um, but but I think honestly just do it because as women, I think we're really raised to not rock the boat, and depending on how you may have been raised as well, when you did speak up, you were shut down or you were told not
Mhm.
to speak, and so your voice wasn't valued. Um, so we grow up with that, and as grown adults, we still tend to live in that, when I think the opposite is true. Our voices are valued once we speak up. And so just learning that and learning within yourself to be, before the program, I was not one to sit with my emotions. So just even learning to do that has been valuable because I've learned that the emotions aren't going to break me down. You know,
Mhm.
I'm going to be able to sit in them and recognize them and not push them down so that I explode later.
Mm.
Well, there's multiple facets of why you should do it. One, to find your voice, and two, just to learn how to really sit with and accept your emotions. I have a very humorous side, but when I get very serious or I get very angst like, it will not come out at all. It's very stuffed down. And so just to be able to, uh, again, recognize really, it just goes back to being transparent with myself,
Hmm.
you know, and it's hard to do because we think we are until we're really challenged. And then we realize, okay, I'm really not as transparent and honest with myself as I thought I was. And so to be able to take that transparency and honesty to a whole nother level has just been more freeing.